everybody, I'm Archana Shaktawat, a psychologist and a personality enhancement trainer. Today I want to talk to you about a very important topic which is called mental health. Even more because even though we've had the lockdown which has been relaxed a little, but during the lockdown nearly 2.6 billion people were in some sort of lockdown, and people with no mental health history were also experiencing psychological problems because of the stress that they had about their job. It was a relationship thing or even social isolation. Human beings are hardwired for social connections. Our body is not made for social isolation, and this was one of the prime reasons why so many of us experienced psychological problems during this time. Moreover, we as individuals do not know how to de-stress internally. We can do that externally through coping mechanisms like listening to music, going out somewhere, or for that matter playing a sport, but we don't know how to do that. So the most important thing that we really need to understand that what exactly is mental health. Everybody has mental health, like how you have physical health, and you need to take care of your mental health. Moreover, how absence of physical illness doesn't equate to physical health. Similarly, absence of a mental illness or a mental disorder doesn't mean you're mentally healthy. So if somebody is mentally healthy, he or she will think, feel and behave or act in manners he or she needs to or wants to. It actually involves your emotional, psychological and your social well-being. So if I really had to define what mental health is, it would be somebody who actually makes the most of his or her potential and works very productively. It is somebody who could be very resilient and can cope up with stressful situations. It is somebody who plays a very important role in his family, among his friends, even his society and workplace. He or she feels confident and feels good about himself or herself, and is also very good at managing and expressing emotions. And lastly, build and maintain very good relationships, or I would want to call them healthy relationships. So mental health is important at every stage in your life, be it your childhood, your teenage, your adulthood, and even at the old age. Being mentally healthy means you want to live a fulfilling and a satisfying life, and mental health goes in a continuum rather than being mentally ill or mentally well. You could be in a happy stage wherein you are satisfied and goal oriented. You could be in a problematic stage where you could be facing a little bit of stress, but you're still coping with it and you are performing your daily functions. But you could be in a disorder stage wherein you're not able to perform your day-to-day functions, and that starts affecting your thoughts, your feelings and your behavior. See, emotions like being stressed out, worried, sad, angry or being afraid, these are normal emotions. But if these emotions, especially the negative ones, are persistent or are long lasting, and if that starts affecting your day-to-day functioning and your relationship with people around you like family, friends, society and even workplace, this is where it starts developing into a mental illness, which could be anxiety, depression, eating disorders, OCD, bipolar, PTSD and so on and so forth. Moreover, mental health can also be caused because of a lot of reasons, like it could be genetic, you've got it in the family. It could be because you've had an injury, you had a traumatic experience in your life, maybe a sexual or a physical abuse. Maybe you lost a loved one like a spouse or a parent at an early age. Maybe you had to change jobs very often or school very often. Maybe your family environment is not very positive. It could be because of a relationship breakup or a divorce, or maybe your society has set up very high standards. That is why also you could be facing. See, whatever be the reason, you need to remember that mental illness happens when certain negative emotions are long lasting, and when it starts affecting your ability to perform even your day-to-day functions and anything else that you used to perform, and starts affecting your relationship with people around you. This is where you need to start seeking in professional help. The whole purpose of mental health intervention is to take you up in that continuum. But sadly, because of lack of understanding and also the stigma related to mental health, is why people do not even approach professional help like psychologists, psychiatrists, and they keep suffering because of it. Whatever be the cause, it is a lack of understanding and the stigma associated why people don't even want to talk about it, let alone seeking help. The whole purpose of the medical health intervention is only to help you understand your mental health, cope up with it, and live a more satisfying life. But because of the stigma is why people don't even want to talk about it. It is predicted that this year 1 in 4 is going to experience some sort of mental health issue. But again, the stigma is what is killing them and even stopping them from approaching for help. I'd like to share some stigma with you. One being that a person with a personality flaw or a weakness or a disability are the ones who go through mental illness, which is very wrong. Secondly, people who have mental illness should be isolated as they are a danger to the society. On the contrary, they are victim to violence. Another very wrong misconception that they have is that if you have mental illness, it is there forever. In fact, research has proved through medication and therapy, mental health can be restored back to normal. Apart from this, there are other misconceptions and myths as well, like people that kids do not have any mental health issues. It's more of an adult thing, or elderly people always face some sort of depression or anxiety. Secondly, they also believe that depression is nothing but sadness and you will snap out of it, which is very wrong. And lastly, I as an individual cannot do anything to help somebody going through a mental health issue. We live in the 21st century, and with the amount of advancement that we've made in the medical field, in education, it's time we break these myths and misconceptions that we have about mental health. It is time that we break these myths. And how do we do it? We first start talking about it. We need to talk about mental illness like we talk about any other physical illness, and you will be surprised to know as to how many people have mental issues and how common depression and anxiety is. Second, we need to stop equating the illness with the identity of the person. Let me give you an example. That if somebody has cancer, we don't call that person he is cancer. But then that's not the case with mental illness. If somebody has depression, we say he or she is depressed, or for that matter, the person also says I am depressed. We need to change that. Instead of saying that I'm anxious, you should say I have anxiety. So this is one change we can bring in. Secondly, one very important thing, we need to join these social groups. There are a lot of mental health support groups which help us know that how many people could be going through it. They also suggest you ways and means through which you can get out of these mental issues. And last is we need to educate ourselves about how do we get treatment and what are some of the signs and symptoms of mental health issues. All of us experience stress in our daily lives, and there are some very common signs and symptoms. But if these signs and symptoms persist for too long and it starts affecting your ability to function, then you should be careful. I'd like to share some common signs and symptoms of depression. So one of them is it will start affecting your sleep pattern. You sleep too much or too less. Same thing applies even to appetite. You'll also stop doing all those activities that you used to do or rather you enjoyed doing. Secondly, you'll also see a change in your day-to-day functioning. All those things that you did in your everyday life, you will stop doing that as well. Secondly, you will become extremely sensitive to any sound that you hear, any smell, for that matter even what you see, and you may feel teary or feel like crying most of the time. Secondly, you will also have problems concentrating, remembering things, and may develop illogical thinking. Anybody who is depressed wants to be isolated. That can happen to you as well, and you may experience multiple physical ailments because even though there is no reason, but you're going to still face those ailments. And lastly, you could develop suicidal thoughts. Apart from these common symptoms that I just mentioned, there are some very age-specific symptoms as well of mental illness or depression. So let's first begin with the elderly people. So some of the common symptoms that is noticed among the elderly people is that they are going to stop enjoying company altogether. You will also see that they'll suddenly become very quiet. They'll completely stop personal care, and you may also see that they will start hearing or seeing things that are actually not there. In other words, they will start hallucinating. Moving on to some of the symptoms of depression among adults. These signs include that they are going to become very negative, or sometimes they may even deny a problem that's there. They'll get tired very easily. There'll be a change in their sexual drive, and this is where they start developing addiction like drugs or on alcohol or on smoking. Apart from this, depression has symptoms which are very gender specific as well. Like men tend to externalize depression. They don't cry and weep about it. Instead, either they'll become numb about the whole thing, or they will complain a lot. They'll also be showing a lot of anger during this time and will get irritable really fast. Mood changes are going to be extreme. Apart from this, they'll also indulge into a lot of risk-taking behavior, like they'll do extreme adventure sports or rash driving. Sometimes you'll also see that among men, they practice something called as escapism. That is, you escape from things that you feel are not too happy around you, like to avoid family, you'll spend a lot of time at work, or you'll spend a lot of time in the gym, or you'll end up playing a lot of video games which could end up for 3-4 hours. So these are some common symptoms specifically among men. On the contrary, women internalize depression. They develop very emotional symptoms like feelings of helplessness, worthlessness, and even self-blame. They think that whatever that has happened, it will never get back to normal, and there's nothing that they can do. They'll stop enjoying what they used to. They'll either put on weight or lose a lot of weight. This is where they experience a lot of aches, especially back aches and also headaches. See, what also happens among women during this phase is that their thoughts of committing a suicide increase quite a lot. But the chances of men committing suicide in depression are a little more. So how men think about depression and what symptoms that they have is very different from what women have. Mental health issues can even develop in childhood. Therefore, it's very important for parents to know what are its signs and symptoms so that they can help the child. Some of the common signs and symptoms of mental health issue in childhood, one is a change in their school performance, that in spite of studying a lot, their grades will be very poor. They will also be excessively anxious and worried about simple things like going to bed, or for that matter even going to school. They'll become hyperactive, they'll become very aggressive, or they will also not be very obedient. Some children also experience nightmares if they are going through mental health issues. So these are some signs and symptoms you should be careful of. Apart from this, even teenagers experience a lot of mental health issue in that age group. So some of the signs and symptoms common at that age include self-harming, wherein they'll cut themselves, they'll bite themselves, or even pluck their hair. They also indulge in a lot of risky behavior like car racing, rash driving, or for that matter unsafe sex, or any dangerous games that gives them thrill and excitement. At that teenage age, a lot of children are very, I would say they're very conscious about the way they look. So they may also develop eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia. But now let's focus on solutions. So I'd like to share some ways and means through which a person who's going through a depressive phase of life or an anxious phase can actually feel a little better. So the first thing is talk about it. The conversation matters. So go ahead, speak to a friend, a family, or a person whom you can trust. The next thing that you should do is seek a professional's help, that is get treatment. Maybe go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist who can help you through therapy or even medication. Another thing that you could do is change your lifestyle, that is eat healthy, get into a physical activity like play a sport, or for that matter, go to the gym or do some sort of exercise. You can also use sun therapy, that is sitting in the sun every day for 20 minutes can actually be a mood changer. You can also use music therapy, that is listening to a music of your own choice can actually be a mood changer. Apart from this, do not isolate yourself. Try and keep those social connections alive. Remember, human beings love beauty. So this is the time wherein you see beautiful things in the nature or in any form. Also try and be a little more creative. One more way that I think that can uplift your mood and even your thinking is by being other-centered. That is, try and do something for others. Bring a smile on their face. And one important thing that you could do is right before you sleep, try and remember all the positives of that day. So maybe you could write down one thing that surprised you, one thing that emotionally moved you, and one thing that inspired you. So common misconception that people have that I as an individual cannot do anything for a person who is going through a depressive phase. On the contrary, a research says that if a person gets support from his family, friends and society, in 40% of the cases he or she may not even need treatment. So there's a lot that you can do. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is notice those symptoms and start the conversation. It's very important to do that. So you can begin conversations like this, that recently I have seen some differences in you, just wanted to check, I hope you're doing okay. You can also say that I just wanted to check on you because yesterday you seemed pretty low. Now that you have started these conversations, it is very important to listen to them. Your body language needs to listen to them. You can ask them questions, but don't interrogate. You can ask them questions like this, that when did you start feeling like this? Or did something happen to you is why you felt like this? How can I best help you? And have you thought of seeking help? Very simple questions, you can ask them these. Another way that you can be great listeners is by acknowledging their feelings. You can say things like that I know you're going through a tough time, but let me tell you, you are not alone. I'm there for you. You can also say something like this, that I may not be able to understand what you're feeling, but I care for you and I want to help you. You can also say things like these, that whatever that you're going through or the experience that you have right now, you may not believe me, but the way you're feeling will surely change, and I'm there for you. Don't worry, I'm standing beside you. Apart from this, there are 3 things, or rather 4 things, that I do not want you to do. One is, do not try and fix it. Don't say things like it'll be all right, it's just in the head, you'll be fine. Secondly is, don't begin the conversations with an advice. You may do that somewhere in between, but don't begin with an advice. Secondly, do not make comparisons unless you've also been through an experience. Don't say things like that I've also been through it, don't worry, it's just a phase, it'll pass out. And please don't take things personally, because the person who is going through a depressive phase may get angry at you, but it's not his fault, neither it is yours. So try and be a little patient, and don't take things personally. Generally, it is seen that people who are going through a depressive phase are not able to perform day-to-day activities. So try and offer help there. So rather than saying that, let me know if you need anything, you can say that, which activity do you need most help with? Let's do it together. This is one way you could do it. Another thing that is noticed with people who are going through a depressive phase is that they don't like social interaction. They want to be isolated. They prefer it that way. So every time you offer them an invitation, they may say no, and after that feel guilty. So whenever you give an offer to a friend who wants to be, you want to invite that person, so give them loose invitation. You can always say that we are having a party, we would love to have you, we'll have a great time, but I understand if you don't join, that's also completely fine. So try and make sure you give such invitations. Secondly, one of the most important things is help them find support. A person who is going through a depressive phase would never ever search about depression or look for a psychologist or maybe a psychiatrist. You need to do that for them. Do that research work, find a nearby psychologist or a psychiatrist and get them that help. And lastly, you also need to learn a lot about depression or mental health issues so that you can actually help that person in the right manner and in the right fashion. Everybody has mental health, and it is our personal responsibility to take care of it so that we can live a satisfying and a fulfilling life. Mental health is an integral part of our health, and there is no health without mental health. So thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope this video will help you understand what is mental health, what are some of its stereotypes and how important it is to break them, and how we as individuals can help somebody who's going through a depressive phase of their life. Do like my channel, subscribe to it and comment to it, and let me end this video with one saying that I say all the time, that please do not forget to take care of your mental health. Bye-bye.